Guys, so today we're going to look at question 47 from the SAT number 9, April 2017 test. And the question says, the passage indicates that the structure of sea cheilosporioides consists of components that something. So a couple things here. One, this is a question a lot of students get wrong. I really think the main reason is just not understanding one specific word. But let's just walk through the structure of it anyways, and just maybe you can get something from it. So we're looking for something about the structure of this algae here. The first thing I notice is the passage indicates. This usually, if it starts with this, or it starts with as presented in the passage, or it starts with according to the passage, which I think is another one in here somewhere maybe. If it starts with one of those, it usually tells me that we're dealing with like one specific sentence. So I'm going to go back and look for a specific sentence that talks about the structure of this algae. I'm going to notice that this is lines 32, so it's more than likely before lines 32. So we come back here. Here is where we're introduced mostly to the algae, and where they talk about it. And then I think right here is probably the best indication, starting in lines 30 to 32, that talk about the seaweed and basically the structure of it. And it says that it's calcified or rigid-bodied, and it has multiple non-calcified joints that make it flexible yet strong enough to handle that setting. So I think the description of it is basically it is hard-bodied, right? Rigid-bodied, it's calcified, and yet there's joints within it that allow it to be flexible and allow it to move in this harsh environment, so it doesn't, it's able to live, it's able to exist. So we'll see that. So let's go through and see if we have a choice that matches that. A says change density in response to external conditions. There's really nothing in the passage or in the lines that we looked at that talk about it changing its density. So I think A is out. B says protect the cell interior from exposure to seawater. This is an answer choice that some students choose because it does sort of talk about how the structure of the seaweed allows it to exist in the setting. The issue is that here it's saying protect the cell interior from exposure to seawater, which isn't too specific. It's really not what the passage says. All it says is that the structure allows it to exist and allows it to live in the harsh setting. Nothing about protecting the cell interior, like the inside of the cell, from exposure to seawater. It's too specific. It doesn't really make sense if you think about it, and that's the reason why B is out. Then we have C, which says regenerate as the seaweed colony matures. I don't really see any evidence or any mention of regeneration for this seaweed in the passage. I say get rid of C. Then we have D, operate together to allow for suppleness. This is a word that most students don't know, and they're like, I don't know, so they choose something else. Suppleness just really means flexibility, so the parts work together. The rigid-bodied calcified parts, the non-calcified joints, they operate together to allow for flexibility or suppleness. So D is going to be the correct answer for question 47.